Michael, what was your reaction to the news that Nicky had been sacked?
Like everybody, shocked at the time, and then I guess it was about over the past 24 hours allowing that to sink in, and for me personally, then trying to keep my focus on what's important as a player, I guess, and what our priority is and why we're here, and that's having success on this Ashes tour. I think that's the most important thing for me and this team, is that we stay very focused on our performance and make sure that we are performing a lot better than we have done so far on this tour, and a lot better than what we did on our most recent tour to India.
But Michael, do you agree with the decision that was made? Do you think it was the right call if he wasn't the man?
Yeah, look, I think this is a decision made by Cricket Australia. It's had nothing to do with the players. It's had nothing to do with me personally. Cricket Australia have made this call, and like I say, for us as a playing group, and now Darren, it's really important that we look forward to what we have ahead of us, and make sure we're really focused on having success on this tour.
And Michael, how much harder has it been within the Australian team to uphold standards off-field, on-field, all across the board, after Ricky left and then Michael left and you lost those senior boys?
We have no excuses. It's very simple. I think the Australian public, the Australian fans, and us as players want to have success. There's no doubt about it. We know what the expectations and standards are off the field as well in regards to behaviour, and we have no excuses for not upholding those values. Like I say, we've been very disappointed with our performances so far on this tour, and we have to turn that around. No doubt we have a young team after losing, or less experienced team after losing Michael Hussey and Ricky Ponting, but that's not an excuse. I think we are very lucky in Australia. We're brought up with a fantastic system in the first class system where standards apply there as well. So we know the behaviours that are required to be an Australian cricketer. We know what performances are expected of us as an Australian cricketer, and we need to improve in both areas.
Michael, if you know what these performances and standards are, why haven't they been upheld? And, as captain, what level of responsibility do you take about what's been happening?
Yeah, I certainly take. I'm certainly accountable for both on-field and off-field as captain of the team. It is partly your responsibility. There's no doubt about that. Like I say, I think with a young team and in life, you make some mistakes, and I think we've seen a couple of guys over the past 12 months make a couple of errors in judgment. But the most important thing for us is, or the senior players and the management of this team, is to make sure we're pulling guys up when they don't meet the standards, and let them know what is expected of you as an Australian cricketer. I've said before that this team, in my opinion, is like no other. The Australian cricket team is a very special place, and it's a privilege to be a part of it, and there's a lot that comes with it. But 99% of what you do for this, what you do in this team, like I say, is a privilege, and you have to uphold that.
Michael, Tim Abraham from Sky Sports News. Hi, and Darren, maybe you could answer this from your point of view as well, but how much more difficult does this make winning the Ashes back for you, given these distractions that got on, for you as captain, and almost that, I guess, sums up the challenge for Darren?
To me, things don't change in regards to my focus, that's for sure, and I can speak for the team here. We are here to have success on this tour. We acknowledge we haven't performed as well as we'd like so far, but we have time. We have a couple of practice games now leading into the first Test match. We will be as well prepared as possible, and we're looking forward to this challenge, there's no doubt about it.
Nick? Darren, felt the pressure straight away, but can you still win the Ashes?
Yes, definitely. It's a challenge for all the playing group and everyone involved in Cricket Australia. The team is going to play a certain way. We're going to play an aggressive brand of cricket that entertains people and fans, but also gets the job done on and off the field. So I'm excited by the challenge. Certainly looking forward to working with Michael closely and the rest of the team members, and looking forward to them having some success throughout this tour.
Mary Beale from ABC. Among the many plaudits that you've received for some last few hours when your name's been mentioned, you highly respect obviously what you do on the field, but also for your attitude off the field, that you're old school, and ironically that you appreciate the role that it is in making team cohesion and so forth. Can you clarify what role that does play and what what sort of approach you take towards it, and it appears to have these ongoing problems?
There won't be any ongoing problems. We'll get everything right off the field and on the field. It's important to talk about the game, whether it's with a beer or a Diet Coke. I don't mind, to be perfectly honest. It's about learning the game and improving our skills on and off the field, and that's what we're about over this journey over the next 2 months with the Ashes. Learning about ourselves as cricketers and people, which is really important, and performing at the level that everyone would expect back home for us to do. So that's probably where that comes into it, more learning about how we want to go about things.
Well, what would you do differently from the
Well, that's for me to know.
Andy?
Sorry, Andy Wilson, Guardian. There's a bit of talk about other people you might bring in, Darren, and Warner's names have been mentioned. Can you give us an answer on
Well, we'd love him in the room, wouldn't we? Look, the past legends, that's what we're about as well, having guys involved in our current structure and having some sort of input. I mean, you don't have a guy take 700 test wickets and not use him if he's around the place. So, he's always welcome, as are anyone that's represented Australia in our dressing room. So we'll be looking after the past players and using their knowledge and looking for guidance and advice along the way. So if he's around, which I know he's commentating with Sky all the time, we'll certainly use him.
Have many people like him already been in touch with you since the appointment of Ken?
Yeah, I've had some great messages. So yeah, they're a very important part of what we're trying to create.
Darren, how do you sort of walk that line between, I suppose, a bit of authority, but also kind of being a friend to the players? You seem to have struck that balance in Queensland.
Yeah, it's tough, but it's honesty. It's all about honesty. Dealing with anything that comes up straight away. Leave no stone unturned. Make sure you've dealt with every issue straight away. And I'll care about the players. There's no doubt about that. And you care, as I saw Mickey's press conference, he cared about the players, and that's the first thing as a coach. You must make sure that you're looking after the players your best as you possibly can, and that's what we're about.
Darren, having seen what's happened to Mickey, and how sort of comfortable are you walking into this particular setup and this particular job?
Well, if Michael gets some runs and we win a few games, I'm okay, aren't I? But that's part and parcel of professional sport. So at the end of the day, if we don't win, then I'll go. That's what happens. So it happens a fair bit in this country with EPL teams, doesn't it? So, that's what goes with the job. You're a head coach, you've got to get results. If you don't, then, you see what happens.
So how long have you signed to be in the job?
2-year deal. So looking forward to that, and looking forward to working with Cricket Australia closely and all the players and getting the right structure in place that allows us to play and entertain people.
I'm just confused though what your role is going to be. You're talking about bringing other people in, yet having players responsible, but then also looking after and caring for the players. I mean, can you more specifically define perhaps what your 3 top priorities will be now that you're head coach?
Probably win for a start, and my priorities will be with the players and myself. So that's a big one for me.
Darren, you have been over the last couple of years with Queensland as an observer of the Australian structure. How much of the structure that currently exists do you want to have a look at and review and change? Obviously, you can't do too much of that now. But
The current structure will stay. So obviously I've come in to replace Mickey and work through the issues that we face to produce some good cricket, obviously win test matches for Australia. And that's the first and foremost at our minds, preparing the players well enough to play in that first test.
what about your support staff?
They'll stay the same.
Tim?
Darren, from a positive point of view, Michael Vaughan's tweeted this morning saying, "Oh, this is bad news for England." Darren Lehmann's sort of at the helm. From a positive point of view, after these setbacks, I guess for you as well, Mike.
Someone must have hacked his account. Surely he didn't say something positive.
Turning it around, is there a feeling that this actually could galvanise the squad, make you more determined for people who have written off Australia even more now?
Look, playing for Australia is enough to galvanise the team. When you get that baggy green cap in your hand, that's as special as it comes. So we don't need anything else to galvanise us.
Darren, almost something like a challenge.
Yeah, well, he's a good Yorkshireman, isn't he, Vaughnie? So I had a lot to do with him, obviously, when my days at Yorkshire. But yeah, it's a challenge for all of us. Look, the challenge for us is to get ready for that first Test match and compete and be consistent, and that's what we want to be. So, it's going to be a good road for us, an exciting road, exciting journey for all the players and support staff, and we're going to meet it head on.
I mean, you know what it takes to succeed. I mean, you know what a successful dressing room is. Does it matter 2 weeks before an Ashes that such a dramatic change has taken place?
No.
Ben. Michael, why have you decided to step aside as a selector?
Look, I had a few conversations with James Sutherland and Pat Howard when I returned from India. So I guess the decision for me to stand down was brought to their attention a while back. It was just about timing, I guess, more than anything else. So I think it gives me an opportunity to spend that time with the team. You know, as I've experienced, being a selector is a full-time job, and for me, I'd much prefer to be concentrating on the boys and being able to help them as much as I possibly can in regards to preparation and also, our performance. Like I say, our performances haven't been as good as we would have liked. So me, that extra time gives me the chance to help the team.
Can it strain the relationship with players, being a selector when you're the captain of the side?
Look, I think I have a fantastic relationship with the guys. I think, they respected my position as a selector. The decision I've made is wholly and solely something that I felt personally. I felt it was the right time for me to step aside and like I say, focus on giving the team as much as I possibly can.
Last question, Nick. Darren, what's your first message to the players, and have you actually sat them all down and spoken to them?
No, we'll do that tonight when we get down to Taunton. So I'll go through how and the way we want to train and play. And then once we get there, we're full steam ahead tomorrow. Obviously, we're training in Taunton, and then an important tour game. Getting ready for the next tour game, then the first test.
Michael, is this a kick up the backside that the players really needed? I'm sure this comes as a massive shock to them.
No doubt it's a shock to all the players. I think we understand, though, that we haven't performed as well as we'd like. That's a no-brainer. Our performances in India were unacceptable. We haven't started this tour well, and we know we expect higher of ourselves. I know the Australian fans do, but we do personally as well, and we need to be the ones to turn that around.